Chapter 271 Millstone Continue. He Pingxing tossed the pill aside and began refining the second batch. He did not use his own golden bee elixir for this batch. Since the heavenly fragrance pill has already been refined, it doesn't matter whether the second batch succeeds or not. As expected, the second batch failed. There may be discarded pills. Even if there are discarded pills, it's the same. Strengthen it. He Pingxing first took out the batch of waste pills and threw them into the treasure basin to strengthen them. After one night, with He Pingxing's constant intervention, these 12 waste pills were strengthened into 2 furnaces. One batch contained 12 grains, all of which were of the highest quality. Another batch yielded 2 top-grade grains and 10 superior-grade grains. This second batch was taken to deliver to Xianxia. After finishing the alchemy, He Pingxing put away the pills, then left his courtyard and wandered around Redstone City several times before returning to his alchemy shop. The name of the alchemy shop has been changed. It is now called Tai Shu Alchemy Shop. Splash! Just as they reached the backyard, Xianxia, who had been sitting on the stone bench there for who knows how long, suddenly stood up. His face was somewhat uneasy, and his whole body was even trembling slightly as he took a step up to He Pingxing and asked, "Young brother, how is it?" He Pingxing nodded and said, "It's done." "What, it's done? It's really done?" Xianxia was overjoyed. He Pingxing could tell that Xianxia's voice had become turbulent. His tone changed slightly. This is normal. People often have this reaction when they are extremely excited. Whether you are a golden core cultivator or a nascent soul cultivator, you cannot hide your true self. Of course, at this moment, Xianxia made no attempt to hide his true feelings. "Senior, I have not failed in my mission." He Pingxing took out a pill bottle and said, "My master went through tremendous effort and added a lot of top-grade spiritual liquid to finally refine this batch of pills for you. 12 pills, including 2 top-grade and 10 high-grade. Take a look." He Pingxing handed the white jade bottle in his hand to Xianxia. Xianxia reached out and took the bottle, his hand trembling slightly as he held it. He took a deep breath to suppress his excitement, then slowly opened the bottle. The moment he saw the 2 top-grade pills inside, Xianxia's tears flowed uncontrollably. He didn't cry, he just shed tears silently. Suine, I did it. For 100 years, I have finally waited for the elixir to save you. You wait, I'll bring you back to life right now." Xianxia wiped away the tears on his face, then looked at He Pingxing and said, "Young brother, may I borrow your temple to revive my wife?" He looked at He Pingxing, unable to wait a moment longer. He Pingxing nodded, "Of course. Please go ahead, senior." With a wave of his hand, He Pingxing activated all the arrays set up outside a house behind him. Xianxia walked into the hut, then tossed a roughly square piece of bluestone over from a distance, saying, "Young brother, thank you very much. No matter the outcome, you helped me refine a top-grade elixir. I, Xianxia, don't have anything of value on me, except for this whetstone, which is of some use. From this day forward, it belongs to you." Rumble. After saying that, Xianxia closed the door and the array in the room. He Pingxing held the heavy stone in both hands, somewhat puzzled. "What is this? A millstone? What's the use of this thing? Just a rock." But the implication in Xianxia's words just now suggested that this millstone was something extraordinary. "Wait a minute, let me see." He Pingxing took out a book from his storage ring. "Miscellaneous Notes on Cultivation. I bought this thing from inside the Taishu sect back when I was there." He Pingxing spent a long time reading the miscellaneous records of cultivation, but he couldn't find any information about the millstone. "Hey!" He Pingxing shook his head and then put away the whetstone. "I'll go back to the Red Moon Merchant Guild later and see if they have any more comprehensive books on common knowledge about the cultivation world. I'll buy them and read them later." On the other side, Xianxia, carrying the pills, entered He Pingxing's dojo. With a wave of his hand, a golden futon was laid out on the ground. The prayer mat was very large, about 10 feet in diameter. Then, on the golden futon, Xianxia placed some miscellaneous items and began to set up the formation. It took him several days to set up a formation properly. After setting everything up, he waved his hand again and threw out a living dead man from some storage space. This is a woman. The woman was dressed entirely in a plain white Taoist robe. Her face was stunningly beautiful, and her black hair cascaded down like a waterfall. It even breathes. The woman's eyes were closed. It's like a living dead. Su Yin. Looking at this woman, Mi Zhengyuan said gently, "All right, just wait. You'll be resurrected soon." Buzzing. With a flick of his sleeve, Mi Zhengyuan threw out another green wooden strip, which floated in the air. Among the green wooden strips was a small, palm-sized humanoid phantom. This is the soul. It could also be said that it was one of the 3 souls of Su Yin, the woman, and it took the shape of a woman, with her eyes closed, floating in the soul-nourishing wood. Mi Zhengyuan rested for a while, then took out a top-grade pill, opened Su Yin's small mouth, and put the top-grade, heavenly fragrance pill into her mouth. That day, the fragrant pill melted in the mouth. Soon, it merged into Su Yin's entire body. Fall. Just then, Mi Zhengyuan shouted, and the soul within the soul-nourishing wood was drawn out by his divine sense. It then grew larger horizontally, becoming the same size as the body of Su Yin below, before falling down. They merged into one soul and one body, perfectly and flawlessly. When Mi Zhengyuan saw this, he was overjoyed. You see, before, every time he tried to put his soul and body together, he could not make them overlap. This time, they actually overlapped. As expected, the heavenly fragrance pill was effective. Rumble. Just then, the formation set up by Mi Zhengyuan was activated. As if emerging from the depths of the underworld, streams of yin energy burst forth from the formation. The billowing, eerie energy resembled a massive plume of black smoke. Outside, Old Man Cheng cried out in a panic, "Something terrible has happened. Young master, there's a fire in the back. It's flooding." He Pingsheng was startled. He ran out quickly. But upon closer inspection, this was not a water flow at all. It was a spectacular sight formed by the eruption of dense yin energy. This is really strange. He Pingsheng frowned. Isn't it supposed to be a fusion of souls? Why is so much yin energy emanating from here? This scene reminded him of what happened in the Taishu Hall years ago. Even the old man Taishu knew to create a 9-yang formation to shield against yin energy. So what's wrong with Mi Zhengyuan? Why doesn't he know how to create a formation? It would be troublesome if outsiders saw this later. Chapter 272. Nascent soul teleportation. Cultivators like Old Man Cheng, who don't know much about the common knowledge of the cultivation world, are a minority. Anyone who frequents the cultivation world can immediately tell that this smoke is yin energy. In the cultivation world, the Xian men and Mo men are irreconcilable enemies, and yin energy is generally regarded as something of the Mo men. So soon, a large crowd gathered in front of He Pingsheng's alchemy shop. Everyone's pointing and whispering here. Even Ling Zhiwang from the neighboring Red Moon Chamber of Commerce came. Ling Zhi looked at He Pingsheng and asked, "Fellow Daoist Shu, what are you doing? Why aren't you putting out this yin energy? Otherwise, you'll be in big trouble when the people from the City Lord's mansion arrive." He Pingsheng gave a wry smile. I don't know either. There's a guest in the room who borrowed my temple." As they were talking, several streaks of light suddenly flew through the void. Several cultivators dressed in golden Taoist robes stood atop He Pingsheng's head. Their cultivation level might not be very high, but their clothing was intimidating. "Oh no!" Ling Zhi exclaimed, "What I said is exactly what happened. The City Lord's patrol guards are here." He Pingsheng frowned and looked up at the sky. A small team of 6 guards arrived. The leader was a Foundation Establishment Stage 8 cultivator. The rest are in the early stages of Foundation Establishment. His cultivation level wasn't high, but he was still someone people were wary of. "Is the manager of Taishu Alchemy Shop here?" the captain asked, looking at the group. He Pingsheng quickly raised his hand. Yes, it's me." "Is that you?" the captain asked. "What happened inside? Why is there such a strong yin energy?" He Pingsheng said, "I don't know either. I lent my Taoist temple to a guest who said he was saving someone inside. As for why so much yin energy is emanating from here, I have no idea. Snort. The captain scoffed. Don't know. Fine, since you don't know, then let me take down this evil cult. Gentlemen, prepare. The 6 men each unleashed their treasured weapons, ready to make their move. Suddenly, an old man dressed in white walked out of the house. The old man had white hair but a youthful face. Her hair was as white as snow, and her eyebrows were straight and white. But his face was like that of a baby. Upon closer inspection, the eyes, mouth, and nose are all quite good. However, when these facial features are combined, they seem somewhat out of place. The only word to describe it is ugly. It was none other than Mi Xianxia, the patriarch of the Mi family and a golden core cultivator. As for what level of the golden core stage Mi Xianxia was, he Pingxing didn't know either. He respected Mi Xianxia greatly, so he never bothered to investigate Mi Xianxia's cultivation level. Mi Xianxia took a step into the air and then said to the captain, "My relative is missing a wisp of his soul and is currently undergoing soul fusion, which is causing some turbulence of yin energy. But I can guarantee that it is by no means any evil or heretical practice. Give me 2 hours. You will know in 2 hours." Mi Xianxia was very polite, and even bowed to the Foundation Establishment stage captain. The Foundation Establishment stage captain's eyes narrowed slightly, and he said, "No. I have to go in and take a look now." "You dare?" Mi Xianxia said, "I don't care what kind of dog you are from the City Lord's mansion, just don't push your luck. If you dare to trespass, don't blame me for being impolite." "You're welcome," the captain sneered. "So what? This is Redstone City. In Redstone City, even nascent soul stage elders have to behave themselves, or they won't be able to withstand the City Lord's wrath. A mere golden elixir is nothing to worry about." It's unclear how the captain knew Mi Xianxia was at the golden core stage. He took a step forward and was about to land. Mi Xianxia, however, showed no restraint. With a flick of his sleeve, a vast burst of spiritual energy erupted, blasting the golden core cultivator dozens of feet away. He did hold back and didn't kill anyone. "So, you actually dare to attack the City Lord's guards? This is insane. You're absolutely insane. Just wait to die." The captain stood up from the ground, his face pale with anger, and then lit a wisp of firework that flew out. Soon, dozens of patrol personnel from the City Lord's mansion arrived. Another elderly man dressed in a black Taoist robe landed in this void. He Pingxing swept his divine sense over the old man and found that he was also a golden core cultivator, and at the 11th level of the golden core stage. Hiss hiss hiss. So tall? Worried that Mi Xianxia was no match for the old man, he Pingxing scanned Mi Xianxia with his divine sense again. It was only then that he learned of Mi Xianxia's cultivation level, the 12th level of the golden core stage. Mi Xianxia actually has 12 levels? Why not break through? He Pingxing felt that Mi Xianxia had already broken through the bottleneck, and now he only needed to take the breakthrough pill to break through the core and transform into an infant. Why not try to break through to the nascent soul realm? Could it be that the breakthrough failed? Why do you do this, fellow Daoist? The black-clad golden core cultivator looked at Mi Xianxia and said, "No matter the reason, it is wrong to attack a cultivator from my City Lord's mansion." Mi Xianxia said calmly, "I used my soul-restoring technique to save people here, so the appearance of yin energy was purely accidental. Give me 2 hours, and this matter will be over. If anyone dares to ruin my grand plan, they will die today." As he spoke, Mi Xianxia's powerful aura suddenly surged forth, sweeping outwards in all directions. The black-clad golden core cultivator nodded and said, "I am no match for you." My dear reader, there's more to, even more exciting content awaits. After speaking, the black-clad golden core cultivator unleashed his divine sense, transmitting the message to the City Lord's mansion. A few breaths later, a woman dressed in green suddenly appeared out of thin air. Everyone was shocked. Appearing out of thin air? How is that possible? "I understand," someone said, "teleportation. This is a teleportation ability that only nascent soul stage cultivators possess." Everyone immediately realized. This is a nascent soul. He Pingxing naturally knew that, according to legend, once one's cultivation breaks through to the nascent soul stage, one can use Daoist techniques and borrow the power of heaven and earth for one's own use. This teleportation is one of the most important characteristics of a nascent soul stage cultivator. With a single thought, one can activate the power of space and teleport oneself tens of thousands of feet away. That's how awesome it is. Of course, it is said that this kind of teleportation only looks fancy, but it consumes a lot of mental energy when it is used. I appreciate the difficulty of your cultivation. The woman said coldly, "Stop the soul fusion technique here immediately. Let's leave now. Such a thing must never be allowed to happen in Redstone City. Senior, please calm down." Mi Zhongyuan, dressed in white, cupped his hands to the woman in blue and said, "Please allow me to explain. My wife encountered a mishap while practicing her martial arts, losing one of her 3 souls. I then asked the owner of this alchemy shop to refine a heavenly fragrance pill for me, and in doing so, I inadvertently performed the soul fusion technique here. This is my fault, but please understand, Senior, that this soul fusion technique will not bring any disaster to anyone. And it will be finished very soon, in just over an hour. Please forgive me, Senior." Chapter 273. The Powerful Mi Zhongyuan, no more than 2 hours. Please grant my permission, Senior. If you grant my request, I will be eternally grateful and will reward you handsomely. After seeing the nascent soul stage cultivator, Mi Zhongyuan adopted a very humble attitude. However, the woman in green, who was at the nascent soul stage, shook her head and coldly laughed. "No, I'm already being more than generous by not pursuing your attack on the City Lord's guards. Get out of here immediately, don't make me have to take action." "No." Mi Zhongyuan shook his head. "Senior, the soul fusion technique has already begun. If it is forcibly interrupted, it will be a catastrophic disaster for my wife. All our previous efforts will be wasted and ruined in an instant. Please grant me permission again, Senior." Even Mi Zhongyuan vomited. He only knew that after swallowing the heavenly fragrance pill, his soul could merge with his body. Who knew it would attract these gusts of yin wind? If I had known, I would never have done such a thing in Redstone City. There's nothing we can do. The process has already begun. If it is forcibly interrupted, Su Yin will surely die. But the woman in green shook her head again. "No. I'll give you 3 breaths. If you don't go, I will personally destroy this formation." She pointed to He Pingxing's small house below. Mi Zhongyuan's expression suddenly changed. "That person who has merged with the soul is my lifeline. If you make a move, Senior, I will definitely ask you to teach me a few moves." "You?" The woman sneered. "You? Although you are at the 12th level of the Golden Core stage, you are still a long way from the nascent soul stage." "That's not necessarily true." Mi Zhongyuan exuded boundless confidence. "Although I am still far from the nascent soul stage, defeating a mere first-level nascent soul cultivator like you is a piece of cake." "Ah ha ha." The nascent soul woman was amused by Mi Zhongyuan's words. She laughed heartily and said, "What a joke! What a joke! This is the funniest joke I've ever heard since I started cultivating." Mi Zhongyuan remained expressionless and said, "Senior, are you new to the City Lord's mansion?" "This junior is Mi Zhongyuan. I wonder if you have heard of my name, Senior." The woman said, "I've never heard of Mizangyuan or Mizangu. Since you're only at the Golden Core stage, I'll let you make the first move. After this one move, whether you live or die is up to fate." The woman flicked her hands, pulling up her wide sleeves. Mi Zhongyuan said, "All right. In that case, please enlighten me, Senior." Buzz. After saying that, Mi Zhongyuan's body suddenly disappeared from the spot. When he reappeared, he suddenly appeared in front of the woman, and without using any magical artifacts, he simply reached out and struck the female nascent soul with a palm. Mi Zhongyuan's teleportation move just now certainly shocked the female cultivator. The female cultivator remained calm and quickly extended her hand as well, striking out with her fair, white palm. The 2 men's palms collided with a bang. The female nascent soul cultivator originally thought that this palm strike would easily kill the opponent, who was just a small golden core cultivator. The result was unexpected. A powerful energy surge emanated from the point where the two palms collided, ripping outwards in all directions. In this energy storm, Mi Xiangyuan remained motionless, but the female nascent soul was blasted hundreds of feet away. 100 feet away, the woman looked disheveled. "How is this possible?" she roared from the void. Then, with a wave of his hand, he produced a sword. "I advise you not to use your magic weapon," Mi Xiangyuan said calmly. "Once you use it, you will die. Killing you was not my intention." Mi Xiangyuan spoke casually, but with extreme confidence. At this moment, countless people felt the same way, as if Mi Xiangyuan could really kill her if she made a move. "Step back," an aged voice called from afar. "You are no match for him." He. The famous Mi Xiangyuan. "It's been so long since I've heard your name." Before I could see anyone, I could hear their voice. Countless people looked up and gazed around. After a long while, the void trembled, and then an old man appeared. The old man was emaciated and stood there in the void. "Junior Mi Xiangyuan greets Senior Murong." Mi Xiangyuan bowed respectfully to the old man once again. "City Lord. Lord City Lord. Greetings, Lord City Lord." Countless people bowed to the old man. The female nascent soul cultivator said, "Lord City Lord, this person is unreasonable and rude, you." The City Lord waved his hand, signaling the woman to shut up. The woman then said no more. "Mi Xiangyuan, it's been a long time." City Lord Murong looked at Mi Xiangyuan and said, 200 years ago, I fought you to a draw. I didn't expect that after 200 years, you'd still be at the golden core stage." "What, you didn't have a breakthrough pill?" "If you don't have a breakthrough pill, I can give you one." City Lord Murong stared at Mi Xiangyuan. Mi Xiangyuan said calmly, "I promised my Daoist partner that I would wait for her to break through to the next level. Otherwise, I could have advanced to the nascent soul stage 100 years ago." These words shocked everyone present. Why not even break through to the nascent soul stage just to wait for a living dead? "My Daoist partner's awakening is imminent." Mi Xiangyuan said, "I humbly request Senior Murong's permission to grant me 2 hours." "This is a trivial matter." Murong said, "I want to ask you, if I were to make a move now, what are your chances of winning?" The old man's gaze, spanning 100 feet of empty space, fell upon Mi Xiangyuan. Mi Xiangyuan paused slightly and said, "This junior can kill a cultivator in the early stage of the nascent soul stage, and can barely fight a senior in the middle stage of the nascent soul stage and leave unscathed. Senior Murong, you are at the 7th level of the nascent soul stage. I cannot defeat you, nor can I escape." "Oh." City Lord Murong chuckled. He. "If I were to kill you today, do you have any way to save your life?" On the surface, Murong smiled and showed no murderous intent. But whether he actually intended to kill anyone, only he himself knows. Mi Xiangyuan didn't care. He waved his hand and pinched an elixir between the index and middle fingers of his right hand. The elixir was green and shiny, with 3 lines on it. "Top grade." Murong City Lord was slightly startled. "Broken pill, top grade broken pill." "That's right." Mi Xiangyuan said, "If Senior wants to kill me, Junior can take this breaking pill in an instant. Unless the law of heaven prevents me from breaking, Senior, you won't survive." Murong City Lord's eyes flickered a few times and said, "That's true, please. I'll give you 2 hours." After saying that, Murong turned around and disappeared. The rest of the people from the City Lord's mansion also left one by one. Mi Xiangyuan saw that everyone else had left, so he naturally returned to He Pingxing's hut to take care of Su Yin. The monks outside started talking one by one. "Who is this person? So powerful. Mi Xiangyuan? Why have I never heard of this name? The key is, why can he teleport? Teleportation, isn't it a magical power that only exists in the nascent soul stage? If you like cornucopia bowl, please collect it. www.shuhaiju.net. Cornucopia Bolshuhage Novel Network has the fastest update speed on the entire internet. Chapter 274 Golden Core Channel. Thousands of people gathered outside He Pingsheng's alchemy shop. It was completely blocked. Countless people are discussing it. However, Ling Jiwang, who was standing right next to him, looked at him with disdain. He Pingsheng asked with some surprise, "Fellow Daoist Ling, do you know what's going on?" He. These people are really ignorant. Ling Ji chuckled and said, "This Mi family patriarch, Mi Zhengyuan, was no ordinary person, but his legends are all from 100 years ago, and few people have heard of him now." Never mind. Senior Mi is currently in your courtyard, so I shouldn't gossip. Let's talk later, bye. Ling Ji waved his hand and left He Pingsheng's courtyard. People outside also began to leave gradually. About an hour later, things returned to normal outside He Pingsheng's alchemy shop. He Pingsheng dismissed several people who came in to buy pills. Closed today. About half an hour later, the eerie aura that resembled black smoke billowing from a chimney on the roof of the backyard slowly disappeared, leaving not a trace. With a creak, the small door opened. Two people walked out of the door. One was Mi Zhengyuan, and the other was a beautiful woman dressed in white. He Pingsheng was slightly surprised. Putting everything else aside, just in terms of beauty alone, this woman's appearance is even comparable to Qiao Huizhu's. What a beautiful woman. He. Mi Zhengyuan looked at the woman and laughed like a child. He pointed at He Pingsheng and said, "This is the little brother who helped me refine the pills. I am Qi Suyin, and I thank you for saving my life, young brother." The woman bowed deeply to He Pingsheng. He Pingsheng quickly replied, No. He secretly released a wisp of his divine sense and swept it over the woman. They saw through it. This woman was only at the foundation establishment stage, but only at the 12th level of the foundation establishment stage. Compared to Mi Zhengyuan, who was at the 12th level of the golden core stage, she was far inferior. "Are you feeling unwell, senior? What are your plans? Should we continue refining pills?" He Pingsheng looked at Mi Zhengyuan with a sincere expression. Mi Zhengyuan shook his head and smiled. "No need. My wife has recovered very well. After resting for a while, she can resume her cultivation." "Don't talk nonsense." Qi Suyin glared at Mi Zhengyuan, then turned to He Pingsheng and said, "Young brother, my husband told me that your wife once dispersed her qi and began to cultivate again." He Pingsheng said, "Yes, she has dispersed her energy and started cultivating again. Thankfully, it worked." Then, Qi Suyin asked, "Young brother, do you still have any pills for reshaping your meridians after dispersing your qi?" She was referring to the meridian opening pill, spirit nourishing pill, and spirit expanding pill. He Pingsheng said, "Yes, but senior, what are you planning to do?" Before He Pingsheng could finish speaking, Qi Suyin nodded and said, "The cultivation technique I practiced had a problem. It almost cost me my life. That's why I also want to disperse my energy and start over. I'd like to ask, was your wife's success in reshaping her meridians due to the use of top-grade elixirs, or was it because of her extraordinary luck?" He Pingsheng said, "It's a top-grade elixir. If you need it, senior, I have more here." He wasn't stingy and took out 3 pills directly. They are Opening Meridian Pill, Nourishing Spirit Pill, and Expanding Spirit Pill. They are all top quality. There's no point in keeping this, and it'll probably be hard to sell anyway. This is a good opportunity to do this woman a favor. After all, Mi Zhengyuan is a powerful figure who can fight beyond his level. If you get close to him, you'll have protection in the future, right? This is wonderful." The woman immediately smiled radiantly. Mi Zhengyuan said, "It's no problem for you to disperse your energy and start over, but I'm worried that your lifespan won't be long enough. After all, you've been asleep for 100 years. A foundation establishment cultivator's lifespan is only 200 years. It's all right." Qi Suyin said, "I'm only a little over 160 years old. The repairs will be quick. I estimate it will take at most 10 years to restore it. Then I can break through to the golden core stage. You don't need to wait for me, hurry up and break through." Wait for me. Who knows when that will be? Mi Zhongyuan immediately became anxious. How can that be? We agreed on that. Qi Suin's face darkened. How dare you disobey me? Mi Zhongyuan immediately backed down. Fine, fine, whatever you say. The two men thanked He Pingxing profusely and then left. When Mi Zhongyuan reached the outside of the alchemy shop, a message came through his divine sense. Young brother, that grinding stone is of utmost importance, and you must never mention it to anyone else, or you will be killed in an instant. He Pingxing was horrified. Is it really necessary to make such a fuss over a stone? After a long while, He Pingxing walked out of the alchemy shop and looked at the end of the road. Mi Zhongyuan has disappeared. He closed the alchemy shop and then rushed to the Red Moon Merchant Guild. The elder on the first floor of the Red Moon Chamber of Commerce is Ling Zhiwang. At that moment, Ling Zhi was drinking tea in a private room on the first floor. He Pingxing barged in without any politeness. Thut! Ling Zhi spat out a mouthful of tea. Fellow Daoist Shu, could you please knock first? Go, 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 you guys go out first. Several women with pretty faces but disheveled clothes walked out of the private room one by one. He Pingxing sat down. Ling Zhi got up and closed the door himself, saying, Brother, what's the matter? He Pingxing said, I wanted to ask you if you have any news about rare and precious herbs. Not yet. Ling Zhi shook his head. He Pingxing then said, I have another question I'd like to ask, which is, I read in the Miscellaneous Records of Cultivation that teleportation is a unique supernatural ability of nascent soul stage cultivators. Only those who have reached the nascent soul stage can control the power of the laws of heaven and earth. Why is it that Mi Zhongyuan is the only one who can do it? Ling Zhi smiled and then slowly poured 2 cups of spiritual tea. Here, have some tea. The two of them each took a sip. Ling Zhi spoke with an arrogant expression. That's right. Generally speaking, when a cultivator reaches the peak of the golden core stage, after swallowing the breakthrough pill, they can break through the core and transform into an infant, and at the same time, their spiritual root transforms into a Tao root. When the root of the Tao grows, one can sense the Tao principles between heaven and earth. Only after comprehending the Tao can one harness the power of the rules governing heaven and earth. For example, if one masters the Tao of space, one can teleport instantly. But that's not entirely true. Some people can develop a Tao root during the golden core stage. This kind of thing is called the golden core channel. He Pingxing was utterly shocked. Golden core channel. What is that? How can this be done? Is it innate? He desperately wanted to know. The difference between the golden core stage and the nascent soul stage is like heaven and earth. Seeing Mi Zhongyuan's battle against opponents of higher levels, He Pingxing was immediately filled with excitement. He wanted to as well. This is absolutely stunning. There are many more. Ling Zhi shook his head and drank another cup of spiritual tea. Some people are indeed born that way. Those with extraordinary talent can develop a Tao root after reaching the golden core stage. But some people rely on external forces. Chapter 275 I want to challenge you, consult. He Pingxing bowed to Ling Zhi. Ling Zhi said, actually, the emergence of the Tao root and the breaking of the elixir to form the nascent soul are not necessarily synchronous, and there is no necessary connection between the two. He Pingxing knew about the so-called breaking the elixir and transforming into an infant. When breaking through from the golden core stage to the nascent soul stage, taking one breaking through pill will cause the golden core in the dantian to split and eventually transform into a nascent soul. This process is called breaking through the elixir and transforming into an infant. After successfully transforming into an infant, one can attract the heavenly tribulation. Passing the heavenly tribulation means reaching the nascent soul stage. Under normal circumstances, when one breaks through the elixir and transforms into an infant, the spiritual root within the body will sprout a Tao root. This is common knowledge in the cultivation world. He Pingxing always believed that the two were inseparable and were one entity. However, today Ling Zhiwang said that they are not necessarily synchronized, nor are they necessarily related. This greatly shattered He Pingxing's understanding. Ling Zhi continued, as I just mentioned, some exceptionally talented cultivators can develop a Dao root as early as the golden core stage. There are also some who, although not exceptionally gifted, will develop a Dao root during the golden core stage because they have cultivated a special technique. Fellow Daoist Shu, can you understand what I'm saying? He Pingxing nodded. I understand. This is definitely understandable. Lingji said, however, the Dao root that sprouts at the golden core stage is not normal, and it is much weaker than the Dao root that sprouts when breaking through the core stage to become an infant. How so? Let me give you an example, like premature birth. Premature baby. Now that I've explained it that way, you should understand, right? He Pingxing nodded again. Lingji said, therefore, even if one reaches the golden core channel ahead of time and develops a Dao root, this Dao root cannot be used. Two conditions must be met to use it. Lingji continued speaking. He Pingxing listened silently. After listening, he finally understood the purpose of the grindstone that Mi Zhongyuan had given him. According to Lingji Wang, the Dao root produced at the golden core stage is like a premature human baby. It cannot be used directly. To use the Dao root at the golden core stage and make it as strong as at the nascent soul stage, two more steps are needed. The first step is to solidify the foundation of the Dao. After passing through the golden core stage, he swallowed a grade 3 pill called the Dao Mending pill. In this way, the root of the Dao is stabilized. However, for the Dao root to grow strong, it still needs to undergo a period of tempering. How to hone one's skills. That's the second step. Use something that can polish your Dao root to hone it. After doing this, your Dao root can become like that of the nascent soul stage at the golden core stage. The object used to polish the root of the Dao is the grindstone. I see. But He Pingxing just smiled wryly and said, what's it to me? Right. What's it to me? All of this is predicated on the early development of the Dao root during the golden core stage. I'm not going to develop any Dao roots. Therefore, I'm 99% unlikely to need this whetstone. Sigh. He Pingxing let out a deep breath. These things are not meant for us. Yes. Lingji said, it's really not meant for us. After chatting for a while longer, He Pingxing and Lingji returned home. I have other things to do. Comprehend the crystallization of spear intent. He Pingxing hasn't yet comprehended the crystallized spear intent he brought from Xinjiang Mountain. Back inside, He Pingxing tied it up and then re-examined the formation. After confirming that there were no problems, he took out a futon and sat down. A dark crystal rests in my palm. How do I use it? He Pingxing didn't know either, but he had heard Jinlan, say before that after devouring, one could comprehend the intent of the spear. Devour? Such a big piece. You can't even swallow it? He Pingxing stared at the black crystal with some purple patterns for a while before taking out a flying sword. With a bang, the flying sword was extended to a foot in length, and with a little force, some powder was scraped off the crystal of spear intent. With lightning speed, He Pingxing threw the powder into his mouth. Boom! The next moment, an incomparably powerful spear intent was generated, and then this spear intent traveled in reverse along He Pingxing's meridians to his spiritual root. Then, it scattered with a bang at the spiritual root. They vanished without a trace. Ah! He Pingxing was speechless. How could this be? After thinking about it for a moment, he understood. This spear intent should contain the Daoist principles of the spear. It belongs to the power of rules. He Pingxing is currently only a foundation establishment cultivator, and his Dao root has not yet sprouted. Without the root of the Dao, one cannot capture the rules. It's that simple. Then, He Pingxing frowned again. Did those foundation establishment disciples who obtained the spear intent in the past also fail to comprehend it? That doesn't seem so. Perhaps they really can understand. The reason I can't comprehend this is probably because I enhanced it inside the treasure basin. Forget it, since I can't comprehend it now, I'll leave it for later, until I reach the nascent soul stage. Anyway, there are enough attack methods available now. Sweeping through opponents of the same level is absolutely no problem. Even if one comprehends the essence of spear techniques, it's merely icing on the cake. He Pingxing put away the crystallized spear in tent and took out a jade slip. The jade slip's name, Huan Jiji Jing. This thing needs to be cultivated quickly. Once I've mastered it, I'll find my wife to cultivate with, and maybe we can break through a bottleneck. Life is very simple. Practice martial arts, refine elixirs, and sell elixirs. In the blink of an eye, half a year has passed. Within 6 months, He Pingxing had basically mastered the Huan Jiji Sutra. It's time to find a wife. Before he even emerged from seclusion, Xiao's voice rang out from outside, "Master, master. Oh no. Someone's here to challenge us." What? Hearing Xiao's words outside, He Pingxing's heart skipped a beat. A challenge? Are the troublemakers here? He quickly reached out and pushed aside the layers of array outside the hut, then stepped into the courtyard. "Xiao, what's going on?" He Pingxing asked, glancing at Xiao with his divine sense as he spoke. Xiao's cultivation level is quite good. She has already advanced to the 7th level of the Qi refining stage. They're from the free and unfettered immortal sect. Xiao, he said. They came here specifically to find you, saying they want to have a duel with you. Holy crap. He Pingxing suddenly had a feeling of déjà vu. He didn't dare linger and quickly strode away, arriving at the alchemy shop in front of him in an instant. There were 4 or 5 people standing in front of the counter. These people were all wearing the same clothes, which He Pingxing recognized as the attire of the Xiaoyao immortal sect. "You are Shu Kunlun." The leading man looked at He Pingxing. He Pingxing scratched his head and said, "Yeah, what's wrong?" He extended his divine sense and took a look. The man was at the 11th level of the foundation establishment stage. "Hey, it really is you," the man said. "Shu Kunlun. I challenge you." Chapter 276. All arrested in the Liang Kingdom. Only Qiao Huizhu and Qiao Xiaoqiao knew He Pingxing's real name. As long as the two of them don't reveal He Pingxing's real name. He Pingxing is Shu Kunlun in this Redstone City. Therefore, it's not wrong for the disciples of the Xiaoyao immortal sect to call Shu Kunlun. He Pingxing's gaze fell on the disciple of the Xiaoyao immortal sect once again. This person was tall and slender with fair skin, and quite handsome. However, his demeanor appears somewhat frivolous. Faced with the other party's provocation, He Pingxing simply smiled. "What?" the man said, "aren't you afraid to accept it?" He Pingxing lazily walked behind the counter, then slowly sat down and said, "Tell me, why did you challenge me?" "Of course, the first step is to tell me who you are." Although he already had a pretty good idea of what was going on, He Pingxing still had to ask. The man said, "Listen carefully, I am Zhong Qifeng, a core disciple of Jade Tree Peak of the free and unfettered immortal sect. As for why I'm challenging you. I heard that you, Shu Kunlun, are my senior sister Qiao Huizhu's fiancé. It's simple, you're not good enough for her. If I win today, you'll leave and never bother my senior sister Qiao again." He Pingxing smiled. It was all his wife's fault. "You're wrong." He Pingxing looked calmly at Zhong Qifeng. "First, Qiao Huizhu is not my fiancé, and I am not her fiancé." "No." Zhong Qifeng looked puzzled. "But..." He Pingxing waved his hand, interrupting Zhong Qifeng, and said, "We two are husband and wife, the kind who have already become Daoist partners. Do you understand?" Ah. Now it was Zhong Qifeng's turn to be dumbfounded. He heard that Qiao Huizhu had a fiancé. How did she become my husband? Senior sister Qiao has already been. Thinking of this, and looking at He Pingxing's ugly disguise, Zhong Qifeng was instantly enraged. "You ugly thing, you dare to say you're worthy? HMPH. Don't you dare insult my senior sister Qiao's reputation here. If you're a man, fight me." Clang. As he spoke, Zhong Qifeng drew a sword. He Pingxing was immediately greatly surprised. Generally, a cultivator's sword is a magical artifact, the size of a palm, which can be shrunk to its normal size with a breath. Someone like Zhong Qifeng, who hangs his sword directly at his waist, is truly an anomaly. "If you don't agree, here." Zhong Qifeng sneered, "I'll tear down your damn shop." Buzz! A chilling sword intent swept outwards. He Pingxing waved his hand. Uncle Cheng, Xiao He, you two go back to the backyard first, to avoid accidental injury. Both of them were at the qi refining stage, and they naturally knew their own limitations, so they hurriedly ran back to the backyard. Zhong Qifeng thought He Pingxing was afraid of him, and said smugly, "You agreed." What a spineless coward! He Pingxing shook his head and said, "I didn't agree. If you want to demolish my shop, you can do it now." Zhong Qifeng. What does this dog coin mean? You. Zhong Qifeng said, "You actually don't dare to accept my challenge." He Pingxing said lazily, "Why should I accept your challenge? What kind of Tom, Dick, or Harry dares to challenge me? I'm not that free. If you want to buy pills, I can give you a discount since you're a disciple of the free and unfettered immortal sect. If you don't want to buy pills, you can get lost." You. Zhong Qifeng trembled with anger. Honestly, He Pingxing's attitude and his ugly and shameless manner were infuriating. Is senior sister Qiao blind? How could she fall for someone like this? I mean what I say. Zhong Qifeng swung his sword at He Pingxing in a flash. A single strike from a Foundation Establishment stage disciple is no small feat. It instantly tore He Pingxing's counter apart. He Pingxing then moved aside. The sword light turned and chased after them again. With a whoosh, the 3 rows of pill shelves behind were all destroyed by this sword. The bottles and jars on top were all broken. Of course, He Pingxing dodged extremely skillfully, and he also dodged the second sword strike. After 2 consecutive attacks failed to achieve their goal, Zhong Qifeng panicked. In his panic, he became even more reckless and finally used all his strength to unleash a powerful sword strike. This time, a golden light flashed beneath He Pingxing's feet, and he ran directly onto the street. Boom! With a deafening roar, the alchemy shop was blasted into dust. Dust billowed, and a surge of energy erupted, even blowing many fragments across the street. This commotion quickly attracted the attention of the City Lord's mansion. A small team of 6 people surrounded the area. Who dares to disregard the City Lord's decree and make a move in my Redstone City? The captain, who was in the lead, swept his gaze down with a cold look. He Pingxing quickly stretched out his hand and said, "It's this guy. He claimed to be a disciple of the Xiaoyao immortal sect, came to my shop to cause trouble, and even said he would demolish my alchemy shop. Then he demolished my shop with 3 swords. Our alchemy shop has paid taxes for 100 years, and the City Lord's mansion said they would protect us. Sir, if we don't arrest him now, when will we?" Zhong Qifeng couldn't deny it even if he wanted to, because at this moment, he was still holding that gleaming blue sword in his hand. Perhaps he had never seen the scale of the City Lord's mansion before. Zhong Qifeng, who had just been so imposing and full of murderous aura, was now at a loss for what to do. The captain, dressed in gold, waved his hand, disrupting the order of the City Lord's mansion. "Seize him." The 6 men rushed forward and captured all 4 disciples of the carefree immortal sect. "Take them all back. Someone will interrogate them." The captain sent men to bring these people back to the City Lord's mansion, then turned to He Pingxing and asked, "Fellow Daoist Shu, did you lose any pills?" He was very polite to He Pingxing. Because this captain was also a cultivator, and had previously come to He Pingxing to buy pills. He Pingxing cupped his hands and said, "I haven't remembered to count them yet, but thank you in advance, Captain. Next time you come to buy spirit gathering pills from me, I'll prepare a bottle of top grade for you. I'll give you a 50% discount then." Upon hearing this, the captain was overjoyed. A top grade spirit gathering pill. It's also 50% off. That's a huge profit. Thank you. The captain said. "Fellow Daoist Shu, quickly take stock of your losses and report them to me. This time, I will definitely help you deal with these lawbreakers." He Pingxing's shop has been reduced to ruins. Is the loss significant? It's definitely big. However, it wasn't as serious as I had imagined. After all, although the medicine shelf was damaged, not all the medicines were destroyed. Houses and shelves are worthless. However, you son of a bitch Zhong Qifeng, you came here to cause trouble. If I don't take a piece of your flesh, wouldn't that be letting you off easy? Chapter 277 Pseudo-Core Formation Cultivator. In just 2 days, He Pingxing's alchemy shop was rebuilt. It's actually very simple. The City Lord's mansion brought some spirit wood and spirit materials, and after piecing them together, the house was completed. He Pingxing's shelves have been repositioned. As for elixirs, no less. Not a single bottle was missing. However, quite a few were crushed. He Pingxing picked up all the crushed pills, put them together, counted them, and reported them to the City Lord's mansion in the form of a list. The alchemy shop remained open for business as usual. Fellow Daoist Shu, why did this happen? Elder Ling Ji from the neighboring Chamber of Commerce came over to inquire. He Pingxing said, a bunch of clueless bastards came to cause trouble, they're just brainless. Ignore it. Is there any loss? Ling Ji asked. He Pingxing said, the loss isn't too great, just a few bottles of high-grade, gathering yuan pills. But it doesn't matter, the other party is the free and unfettered immortal sect, a large and wealthy family, they can afford to compensate. Oh, that's good, that's good. Ling Ji chuckled and said, ahem. Fellow Daoist Shu, I have some good news. Our Chamber of Commerce is recently auctioning off a rare and precious herb that can break through bottlenecks. Really? He Pingxing's heart warmed, there was actually news. Don't be too happy. Ling Ji said, I wasn't clear. It's not a breakthrough item for the foundation establishment stage, but an item for the qi refining stage. He Pingxing's face immediately darkened. Brother, next time you speak, can you finish your sentence at once? Hehehe. Ling Ji chuckled. My bad, my bad. Hey, isn't your old man about to break through to the next level? And your apprentice, he'll probably face a bottleneck in a few years too. You can't go wrong by filming him. He Pingxing nodded. I took a picture of it, and after strengthening it, it became 2, which is just right for old man Cheng and Xiaohe to use. Okay. He Pingxing thought for a moment and asked, around when? Ling Ji said, in half a month. Actually, what I'm telling you is that I want you to go find Elder Red Moon. The publicity for this auction hasn't even started yet. If possible, speak with Elder Red Moon privately. Perhaps. He Pingxing immediately understood what Ling Jiwang meant. The idea is to skip the auction and snatch this item directly from Elder Red Moon. That's a good idea. After all, He Pingxing is now a supplier for the Red Moon Chamber of Commerce, and his relationship with the Red Moon Elder is quite good. But remember one thing, don't tell anyone I leaked this information to you, or I'm finished. After saying that, Ling Ji left immediately. He Pingxing sat down and began to ponder while drinking the spiritual tea. After nightfall, he went directly to the Red Moon Merchant Guild. Because it was an old acquaintance, he was able to easily meet the guild's Grand Elder. Please sit down. Hong Yu politely invited He Pingxing to sit down. The two were facing each other. He Pingxing smiled broadly and said, Senior Hong Yu, I have something to discuss with you. Snap. He Pingxing took out a jade bottle and placed it in front of Elder Hong Yu. What do you think of the hype if this were to be auctioned off? Hong Yu didn't open the bottle. After scanning it with her divine sense, she exclaimed in shock, this is actually a top-grade foundation establishment pill. This is really good stuff. The Chamber of Commerce hasn't produced a top-grade foundation establishment pill in many years. The key point is, there are 2 of them. Does fellow Daoist Shu want to auction it off? He Pingxing said, actually, I heard that there is a Crimson Essence ginseng at this auction. My disciple is also about to reach a bottleneck. I would like to exchange these 2 foundation establishment pills for that Crimson Essence ginseng. I wonder if that is possible. I see. Hong Yu's expression immediately turned serious. She took a sip of spiritual tea and said, we keep the Crimson Essence ginseng extremely secret. How did you find out about it? He Pingxing said, Elder Hong Yu, everything in this world is a matter of chance. If we investigate further, then there is no one perfect in this cultivation world. If the elders do not agree, I, Shu Kunlun, will leave immediately. Okay. Hong Yu nodded and said, "You're right, I won't ask for the specifics." Change. 2 top-grade foundation establishment pills, and I'll give you a crimson essence ginseng. From He Pingxing's perspective, he definitely made a profit. After all, foundation establishment pills are something he can easily obtain at any time, while crimson essence ginseng is something that can only be found by chance. Does scarcity make something valuable? As for the Red Moon Chamber of Commerce, they also profited. Why? The Red Moon Merchant Guild operates on the basis of auctions, and the purpose of auctions is to earn spirit stones. Clearly, selling 2 top-grade foundation establishment pills will yield a substantial amount of spirit stones. Moreover, this also did He Pingxing a favor. Why not? After obtaining the red essence ginseng, He Pingxing returned to his courtyard immediately. Then, take advantage of the night to strengthen it. Overnight, he strengthened the crimson essence ginseng into 2. Uncle Cheng. He Pingxing handed one of the crimson essence ginseng to Uncle Cheng. Take this. After you eat it, your cultivation bottleneck will be broken. When you reach the 12th level of qi refining, I will give you another foundation establishment pill, and you will be able to successfully enter the foundation establishment stage. It's practically a 100% certainty. Thump. Old man Cheng knelt down directly in front of He Pingxing, tears streaming down his face. Thank you, young master, thank you so much. Old Cheng has been on the path to immortality for over a decade, and he is no longer the country bumpkin he once was. He understood cultivation and the concept of lifespan. Successfully reaching the foundation establishment stage can increase one's lifespan by 100 years. It's exciting just to think about it. All right. He Pingxing helped him up. Don't kneel before me anymore, go into seclusion. I'll take care of the chores at the alchemy shop these days. There was no other way. Xiao he was also in seclusion. Fortunately, He Pingxing was unharmed. Aside from studying the Hahuan Jiji Jing, he's mostly idle every day. All right, this old man takes his leave. Old man Cheng took the red ginseng and respectfully withdrew, then went to the small courtyard. In the small courtyard, there is his separate house. Not long after old man Cheng left, a customer entered the alchemy shop. This man was dressed in a white Taoist robe, and he was elegant and handsome, with an extraordinary aura. And he's also very handsome. The key point is that his cultivation level has reached the great perfection of the 12th level of the foundation establishment stage. He Pingxing scanned the area with his divine sense and was slightly surprised. Hello. He Pingxing stood up and said, "Are you here to buy Chaoyuan pills? We have low-grade, mid-grade, and even high-grade Chaoyuan pills here." The 12 levels of the foundation establishment stage are just a matter of buying Chaoyuan pills to break through to the golden core stage, right? Other elixirs were meaningless to him. The cultivator smiled calmly and said, "No. I have already entered the pseudo-core stage. I don't need the Chaoyuan pill to break through to the golden core stage." He Pingxing gasped, "Good heavens, he's actually a fake core formation cultivator." Chapter 278. Let's just change the Taoist name. What is fake cinnabar? When cultivating, breaking through from the 12th level of the foundation establishment stage to the golden core stage does not necessarily require the use of the Chaoyuan pill. It works. You don't have to. If not used, one must rely on one's own cultivation, perseverance, luck, and many other factors to condense the energy of heaven and earth for half a century in order to form a golden elixir. This is based on the same principle as using Chaoyuan Dan. However, cultivators who don't use the Chaoyuan pill but rely on their own efforts to gradually condense a pseudo-core, become even more powerful after achieving the golden core stage. The golden core can store more spiritual energy. The so-called fake core cultivators are those who pursue the formation of their core through their own efforts without using the Chaoyuan pill. When the golden core has not yet fully formed, but there is already a vague outline of it, it is called a false core. The combat strength of a pseudo-core cultivator lies between the early stage of the golden core stage and the peak stage of the foundation establishment stage. Very strong. To put it simply, any pseudo-core cultivator could easily crush an ordinary Foundation Establishment Stage 12 cultivator. Such cultivators are very rare to encounter. Even among 100 cultivators who have reached the Foundation Establishment stage, perhaps only one can reach the pseudo-core stage. Then, He Pingxing said, "What kind of pills would you like?" The fake pill cultivator shook his head and laughed, "I don't buy pills. My Daoist name is Infinity, which comes from the free and unfettered immortal sect." After saying that, the Taoist priest stared at He Pingxing with a smile. He Pingxing's expression also changed. The carefree immortal sect. Is this someone looking for trouble? He Pingxing walked back behind the counter and lazily looked at Wuqi. Wuqiang said, "This seat." "Stop." He Pingxing held up his hand, gesturing for a halt. "Don't keep using the term 'this master' in front of me. You have no right to use those two words." Wuqiang immediately looked embarrassed. That's right. According to the rules of the cultivation world, referring to oneself as "this one" in front of others is a way of implying that one is a generation above others. Wuqiang was very arrogant within the sect, and he always referred to himself as "this seat" in front of his fellow disciples. His fellow disciples all fawned over him, so naturally no one had any objections. He was used to this way of referring to himself, so he didn't change it when he came to He Pingxing's place. Now that He Pingxing has spoken so bluntly, it's no wonder Wuqi is embarrassed. Cough, cough, cough. He coughed a few times, then took a deep breath to calm himself down, and said, "Fellow Daoist Shu, right? I am Wuqiang, the senior brother of Jade Tree Peak of the free and unfettered immortal sect. A while ago, my junior brother Zhong Chifeng was rude here and was arrested by the City Lord's men. I apologize on his behalf." He Pingxing said, "Forget about apologizing. Just have him come over in person and compensate me." Wuqiang touched his forehead and said, "Fellow Daoist, you may not know, but my junior brother is still being held in the City Lord's mansion." Wuqiang has already made several trips, and even the elders of the sect at the Golden Core stage have come forward. But the other party just won't release them. There's nothing we can do about it. After all, the City Lord's mansion represents the Liang Kingdom. In Redstone County, the strength of the free and unfettered immortal sect is much greater than that of the City Lord's mansion. But throughout the entire Liang Kingdom, they were no different from ants. The City Lord's mansion said that in order to protect the interests of the merchants, compensation must be paid. Make the Xiaoyao immortal sect compensate He Pingxing. Once the compensation is finalized, have He Pingxing produce proof that the compensation has been completed. Then, the City Lord's mansion can impose some fines on him, and he can be released. Wuqiang came here this time to deal with this matter. I'm not in a hurry. He Pingxing said, he can come and keep me company after he gets out. Wuqiang was about to cry. If I get out, I'll fucking come back and compensate you. Fellow Daoist Shu. Wuqiang looked at He Pingxing and found him increasingly annoying. To be honest, the reason why junior brother Zhong Chifeng came to cause trouble for He Pingxing was entirely because of him. Ever since he met Xiao Huizhu, this Daoist Wuqiang has been obsessed with her and is determined to win her heart. He even made his statement in a public setting. However, she accidentally learned that Xiao Huizhu was already married. How could this Daoist Wuqiang tolerate this? Wuqiang is one of the most outstanding genius disciples of the Xiaoyao immortal sect. The first foundation building on the entire Yushu Peak. That's very famous. If you release them all, can you ever get them back? Therefore, he secretly sent his junior brother Zhong Chifeng to test He Pingxing's abilities. That way, we can make a decision. Result. Before he could even use his full power, his junior brother was killed. I'm about to throw up. Hehehe. Wuqiang smiled insincerely and said, "Fellow Daoist Shu, just tell me, how much exactly was destroyed? How many spirit stones should I pay in compensation? I'll pay the compensation on Zhong Chifeng's behalf. Is it okay?" "Sure." He Pingxing said, "It would be great if someone could compensate us. Come on, see for yourself." He Pingxing took out a porcelain bottle. The porcelain bottle was full of shattered pills. 2 batches of top-grade, gathering essence pills, totaling 24 pills. He Pingxing began to compile a list. 1 bottle of top-grade, Chaoyuan pills, was damaged, totaling 12 pills. Considering you are from the free and unfettered immortal sect, I'll take these damaged shelves. Just compensate me with 3 bottles of pills. You'll have to compensate me for the 2 days I've lost business. After hearing He Pingxing's words, Wu Qiong's lips twitched violently a few times. Top grade. Are they all grade 3 pills? There were 36 pills in total. Hiss hiss hiss. He gasped for breath several times. This is no small fortune. Then, how many spirit stones exactly? Wu Qiong asked. He Pingxing said, this top grade, gathering yuan pill, costs 1.8 million spirit stones per bottle. As for the Chao Yuan pill, the price is even higher. Just give me 2 million spirit stones per bottle. Cheng Hui, that's a total of 5,600,000 low-grade spirit stones. You've delayed my business for several days, so please compensate me extra. 6 million low-grade spirit stones in total. Here you are. He Pingxing stretched out his hand. The poor man's face turned black. 6 million? Even if you sold me, I wouldn't have 6 million. Fellow Daoist Shu. Wu Qiong exclaimed, isn't this too much? A lot. He Pingxing looked at Wu Qiong. Daoist, you were calling me this humble one all the time. You don't even have 6 million spirit stones, do you? You're a core disciple of the carefree immortal sect, aren't you? A pseudo-core cultivator, so stingy. I think you should just change your Taoist name. He Pingxing said calmly, and don't call yourself the boundless Taoist anymore, just drop the boundless part. You. The Daoist Wu Qiong was so angry at He Pingxing's ridicule that he almost vomited blood. The last sentence, in particular, really hit him hard. He trembled all over and pointed at He Pingxing. If they weren't in the city, he would have loved to slap He Pingxing to death. Unfortunately, we're in the city now. He Pingxing rolled his eyes at him, then took out a book from behind the counter and started reading. If you don't have money, get lost, don't delay my training. You. Wu Yong gritted his teeth and walked out of He Pingxing's shop. No. That book that grandson was just reading. He Huan Gong. Chapter 279. Old Cheng's foundation establishment. Not long after the Daoist Wu Qiong left, a talisman in He Pingxing's storage bag began to flash. He took out the talisman. Upon opening it, a sentence floated out from the talisman. Husband, are you at the alchemy shop? If you are, I'll come find you right away. This is Chao Huizhu's voice. A symbol of unity. The heart symbol generally indicates a short communication distance. However, the heart-to-heart talisman in He Pingxing's hand is a second-grade talisman. His communication range was very long, barely enough to cover the distance from Redstone City to the free and unfettered immortal sect. He Pingxing picked up the heart-to-heart talisman and said, okay, senior sister, I'm at the pill shop. After he finished speaking, a flame ignited on the heart-to-heart talisman, and in the blink of an eye, the heart-to-heart talisman turned to ashes. This is a disposable item. It can only be used once. It receives one message, sends one message, and then self-destructs. Before Chao Huizhu arrived, the door to one of the rooms in the back courtyard was opened. Old Cheng came out of the house and ran happily to He Pingxing, saying, young master, I've broken through. I'm on the 12th floor now. He's reached the 12th level of the Qi refining stage. Just broke through? He Pingxing asked. Old Cheng shook his head and said, no, I actually broke through several days ago, but I felt my foundation was unstable, so I stayed in the room to stabilize it. I've now stabilized my cultivation level. A solid 12 floors. As he spoke, Lao Cheng patted his chest. He Pingxing keenly noticed that as Lao Cheng's cultivation improved, the old man's face looked even younger. Cultivating immortality is truly a wonderful thing. Can it even make people young again? Good. He Pingxing said, now that you have stabilized your realm, you can try to break through to the foundation establishment stage. Once you reach the foundation establishment stage, your divine sense will grow to over 100 feet. On the one hand, you will be able to fly on a sword, and on the other hand, your lifespan will double. He took out a foundation establishment pill from his storage bag and gave it to Old Cheng. Old Cheng took the foundation establishment pill and examined it. There are 3 lines on it. Top grade. It's actually a high-grade pill. Old Cheng said in shock. Young master, isn't this pill too expensive? Why don't you give me a mid-grade one to try? We can keep this high-grade one and sell it at the pill shop later. He Pingxing was both amused and exasperated, and said, No, I'll give you a mid-grade one later. If you can't break through, I'll have to give you a high-grade one too. Give it a try. As for the best quality items, He Pingxing didn't give them to him, because he felt he wouldn't need it. Don't underestimate Old Cheng, he's a genuine single-fire spiritual root. In this respect alone, he surpasses more than 90% of cultivators. With such spiritual roots and talent, let alone a high-grade foundation establishment pill, He Pingxing felt that a mid-grade one would be more suitable. All right. Old Cheng put away the foundation establishment pill and said, Young master, shall I try again now? Okay. He Pingxing nodded. Go and give it a try. Come find me again when you reach the foundation establishment stage. After obtaining the foundation establishment pill, Lao Cheng returned to his personal hut and began attempting a breakthrough. Soon, in just half a day, Lao Cheng broke through. Foundation successfully established. This speed left even He Pingxing somewhat in awe. He thought that Lao Cheng would need to calm down for a few days and adjust his state before consuming the foundation establishment pill. Who knew that the old man would actually swallow it whole? The key point is that they actually succeeded in breaking through. You. He Pingxing looked at Old Cheng in front of him and for the first time had an impulse to ask him what his name was. Old Cheng, what's your name? Why ask for Lao Cheng's name? Because before, he always called him Uncle Cheng or Old Cheng. But now, it's a bit inappropriate. Because he broke through to the foundation establishment stage, Old Cheng's lifespan increased. If he doesn't encounter any calamities, he could easily live to around 200 years old. And now, Lao Cheng's actual age is only in his early 70s. Compared to a lifespan of 200 years, 70 is actually not even middle age. So now, Lao Cheng's hair has turned completely black. The wrinkles on my face have also mostly disappeared. If I had to give a precise figure, he would be roughly equivalent to a man in his 40s. He was full of energy, his whole body brimming with vitality. He's definitely a strong man. In this situation, it would feel a bit awkward to call him Lao Cheng or Uncle Cheng. Young master. Old Cheng cupped his hands and said, My name is Cheng Daotsai. When my father was alive, he always said that a gentleman loves money but acquires it in a proper way, so he named me Daotsai. All right. He Pingxing nodded. From now on, I'll call you fellow Daois Cheng. This. Cheng Daotsai hesitated for a moment, then said, No, it's not appropriate, young master, how about, you just call me Old Cheng? That makes me feel more comfortable. I'm just an ordinary man from the mountains and fields. If I hadn't met you, young master, how could I have such a wonderful destiny? Everything I have was given to me by you, young master. How can I possibly be on equal footing with you? He Pingxing said, Now that you have reached the foundation establishment stage, you are actually free to travel around on your own. What are your plans? Should I stay in my shop, or go traveling? I'm not going anywhere. Cheng Daotsai said, I'd rather spend my whole life following you, young master, as your old servant. No matter how far I can cultivate my cultivation, it's all up to my luck, but I don't want to be separated from my granddaughter. He Pingxing said, It's up to you. You can stay if you like, or go out if you want. Just let me know. After saying that, He Pingxing took out another book and tossed it to Cheng Daotsai. Old Cheng, these are the last 2 chapters of the true method of separating fire, namely the foundation building chapter and the golden core chapter. I don't have any more after that. You should start practicing first. These 2 chapters will be enough for you to cultivate for a long time. The original, true fire separation technique was an enhancement of senior brother Hao Yun's basic breathing and exhalation technique. Because the foundation is very weak, the enhanced techniques, although at the heavenly rank, are limited in content. There are only 3 chapters: Qi refining, foundation building, and golden elixir. That's enough, that's enough. Cheng Daotsai took the book, thanking him profusely. He Pingsheng pulled out another book and said, I have very few fire attribute spells, only 2. One is the fire crow spell, which I have already passed on to you. And another one is this, fire shield technique. Once mastered, it can conjure a fire attribute shield to defend against the opponent's attacks. The spell has been given. That's enough. Cheng Daotsai said, Young master, I actually have several fire attribute spells of my own. That's true. Previously, He Pingsheng had entrusted the grandfather and grandson with sorting through the countless spoils he had obtained. The fire attribute spells that he sorted out were all bestowed upon Cheng Daotsai and Xiao He. Not only magic spells, but also magical artifacts and spiritual objects were given to protect the 2 of them. It's safe to say that Lao Cheng and Xiao He have plenty of resources. Chapter 280 Complementarity. After his breakthrough, Cheng Daotsai immediately took over the pill shop. He alone is enough for everything, inside and out. Of course, He Pingsheng still had to handle the alchemy. Although Qiao Huizhu said she was coming, it was not a short journey from the Xiaoyao immortal sect to Redstone City. It would take several days. He Pingsheng took advantage of these few days to go into a short period of seclusion. On the one hand, continue to familiarize yourself with the Hahuan Jiji Sutra. On the other hand, he took out the 5th grade formation, the Heavenly Moon Divine Formation, and began to examine it. Last time, I obtained Lin Zifang's family heirloom array manual. After strengthening it, I got 2 copies. One is the Heavenly Moon God Array, and the other is the Great Sun God Array. Although there are 2 parts, you can actually understand either one. They are largely the same. He Pingsheng chose to study the Heavenly Moon Divine Array. He felt that Redstone City was too far from the free and unfettered immortal sect, and that if he could comprehend the divine array as soon as possible, he could set up a teleportation array sooner. If a teleportation array could be set up between Redstone City and the free and unfettered immortal sect in the future, wouldn't that save us several days of flying? It's not only fast, but also safe. The carefree immortal sect. Yushu Peak. The entire Xiaoyao immortal sect has 12 peaks. This Jade Tree Peak is extraordinary, incomparably noble, and its status is much higher than that of Biyun Peak where Qiao Huizhu is located. This is because the peak master of Jade Tree Peak is an elder in the nascent soul stage. Yushu Zhanren. Yushu Zhanren had only recently advanced to the nascent soul stage, less than 100 years ago. His cultivation level was only at the 2nd level of the nascent soul stage. He was quite talented, possessing a single wood spiritual root, and his cultivation had always been smooth sailing. However, it wasn't until he reached the nascent soul stage that he understood what it meant to be impartial in the way of heaven. Having a single spiritual root naturally allows for incredibly fast cultivation speed during the Qi refining, golden core, and foundation establishment stages. However, once one reaches the nascent soul stage, the limitations of this single spiritual root become apparent. For a nascent soul cultivator to break through their own limitations, in addition to condensing immortal spiritual energy to overcome the physical barrier, they also need to comprehend the power of the rules of heaven and earth to overcome the Tao barrier. Only by overcoming both physical and spiritual barriers can one advance to the next level. However, if one has a single wood spiritual root, one can only comprehend Taoist techniques related to the wood attribute. This will reduce the chances of getting the job. For example, now a sudden opportunity has arisen, which is a Daoist origin that grows from heaven and earth, but it is of the fire attribute. Cultivators with the wood element cannot comprehend this Daoist technique. That's the limitation. However, cultivators with the 5 elemental roots can comprehend all the Daoist principles in this world. Above the nascent soul stage, all beings are equal. At this very moment, a person was kneeling in the main hall of this nascent soul ancestor. That was the Daoist Wuqiang, dressed in white, an extraordinary and otherworldly figure, who was also the first Foundation establishment cultivator of Jade Tree Peak and the senior disciple of the Foundation establishment stage on Jade Tree Peak. Get up. The nascent soul elder waved his hand dismissively. This matter is indeed somewhat troublesome. He was referring, of course, to Zhong Qifeng being imprisoned by the City Lord's mansion. In Redstone City, the free and unfettered immortal sect indeed holds a very prestigious position and wields considerable power. But the City Lord's mansion represents the Liang Kingdom. This is an extension of the royal family's power. Now that they have made a mistake, they naturally dare not oppose the City Lord's mansion. Master, Wu Qiong said, this disciple believes that the key to this matter lies with Shu Kunlun. If he agrees, my junior brother will naturally be able to get out smoothly. HMPH. Master Yushu snorted coldly. Isn't it all because you took it upon yourself to let Zhong Qifeng go and provoke them? Do you think your master didn't know? But this Zhong Qifeng is a pig's head. Why did he have to start a fight in someone else's alchemy shop? I remember that the City Lord's mansion in Redstone City has a dueling arena for cultivators. Wouldn't it be better to set up a fighting ring instead? Wu Qiong cupped his hands in apology. It's all my fault, but what should we do now? HMPH. Master Yushu said, bring me those fragments, let me see them. Wu Qiong respectfully took out a bottle and gave it to his master. This bottle was given to him by He Pingxing. It naturally contained the dregs of broken pills. Open. The divine sense of the nascent soul stage expert suddenly opened, absorbing countless fragments from the entire jade bottle and placing them into the void to float. A miraculous scene unfolded. These countless fragments, under the influence of the nascent soul's divine sense, were reassembled into pills in less than 10 breaths. Sure enough, there were 36 pills, not one less and not one more. 24 of them are gathering yuan pills. 12 pills are Chao Yuan Dan. Moreover, the quality is all top-notch. This kid didn't cheat you, the old nascent soul cultivator said. It really is 36 high-grade pills. 6 million is a bit pricey, but not outrageous. Who told me to ask them for a favor? Here you go. Master Yushu waved his hand, and a storage bag was thrown out by him. Inside are 600 mid-grade spirit stones. Take them and give them to Shu Kunlun. Get Zhong Qifeng out of here as soon as possible. Yes. Daoist Wu Qiong happily accepted the storage bag, then looked at the remaining pill residue in the void and asked, Master, these? Useless. Yushu waved his hand, and these dregs were immediately thrown out the door. If the pill is broken, all spiritual energy will be lost. This time, I'll learn a lesson the hard way. I have no interest in what kind of conflict you have with Shu Kunlun. However, I know that Shu Kunlun's wife is on Biyun Peak. My Jade Tree Peak absolutely cannot be overshadowed by their Azure Cloud Peak. We must regain this face. Go. With a flick of his sleeves, the nascent soul cultivator sent the fake core formation Wu Qiong out of the main hall. The main hall slammed shut, and the array closed. A few days later, Qiao Huizhu arrived at the alchemy shop. Husband. I'm sorry. Qiao Huizhu said apologetically as soon as she saw He Pingxing. It's all my fault. I just realized I had caused you trouble, so I came over. Husband, are you all right? They didn't do anything to you, did they? Qiao Huizhu looked very nervous. He Pingxing smiled and said, Don't worry, there's nothing wrong. As you know, fighting is forbidden in Redstone City, so they can't do anything to me. Yes. Qiao Huizhu nodded. How are you? He Pingxing asked, looking at Qiao Huizhu. Is your cultivation at the free and unfettered immortal sect going smoothly? Sigh. Qiao Huizhu said, the free and unfettered immortal sect is great, it's good in every way. There are just some overconfident fools who are like toads trying to eat swan meat. But don't worry. Qiao Huizhu smiled, then took out a book from her bosom and said, after you break through the bottleneck, those who indulge in fantasies will no longer dare to dream. Snap. The book was placed in front of He Pingsheng. The book had 5 large characters written on it, He Huan Jiji Jing. Xiao Huizhu walked to the counter, looked at He Pingsheng, and her eyes were full of seductive charm. He Pingsheng smiled, put away the He Huan Jiji Sutra, and said, "All right, let's try it first. Whether I can break through is still uncertain." After all, Lin Zifang was able to break through his bottleneck using this technique, while he was using the dual cultivation method. It's hard to say whether they complement each other.